It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
When a cold wind blows, it chills you to the bone. But there's nothing in nature that freezes your heart like years of being alone. It paints you with indifference like a lady paints with rouge. And the worst of the worst, the most hated and cursed, is the one that we call Scrooge. Those lyrics come from the pen of the great Paul Williams, and I recite them in honor of the 30th anniversary of the greatest adaptation of Charles Dickens' ghost story. Yes, I said it. The one and only Muppet Christmas Carol, soon to be restored to its original length on Disney+. A cup of kindness that we share with another, a sweet reunion with a friend or a brother. In all the places you find love, it feels like Christmas here on Saturday Matinee. My name is Kyle, and since I'm hosting today, that makes me the ghost of Christmas present. But I can't do it alone. Playing the role of Christmas past is the founder of this holiday feast, podcast impresario, Pete Wright.
Oh, God, you just called me old in like the most elegant way.
And rounding out our spectral trio, fulfilling the role of Christmas yet to come, a woman with unbridled optimism and 1 foot always in the future, it's the incandescent Krissy Lenz.
Yes, I'm the ghost who points at things, which
That's
doesn't
right.
translate to podcast. I'm pointing at all of you, pointing at your future.
Well, the silly season has begun. So what have you guys been watching recently as December has descended upon us?
Ooh, okay. Well, going right along with your fabulous intro, Kyle, I watched Spirited
Yes.
with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and boy, isn't that just a cute little lark. It's fabulous. I loved it. I want it to be a stage play.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
And I want it to be a stage play right now because anybody could sing those parts because they're not really,
Yeah.
it's just
That was
kind of
nice
like
about it.
talking in a
Yeah.
song way. So I think
It's
anybody could be
almost
in
a
it.
little Rex Harrison. They sort of like, they just a little above.
Above Rex Harrison? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Law was made a distant moon ago here. Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking, why can't the English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw it and enjoyed it. So did Pete. I know this because we're going to talk about it in a future episode of Curiosity Codex, which has yet to be released. I got him and Rob Cabasco together to talk about that Spirited,
Excellent.
and also some of the things. So even though you didn't know it, you were pitching me a nice promo fastball right across the plate, Krissy. So nice job.
That's what I live for. Promo fastballs.
So Pete, I know you've seen Spirited, but what else have you watched?
I've definitely seen Spirited, and I don't know if you've heard, but I love Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special
You
more
do.
than you.
Spoiler.
And I am right about it.
Eh.
And also, I think neither of us are able to live up to Rob's enthusiasm for A Christmas Story Christmas, which is legendary and large. But it's also worth watching. For me, I am most excited that I'm as this show goes out, last night, Friday night, we'll have released the final episode of the first season of The Peripheral, and I am still really, really enjoying that. And it is, it's great. It's living up to the book. It's a fun, future-y adventure show in which everything that's future-y doesn't surprise anybody, and I love that so much. Like it's so grounded in amazing stuff, and everybody's looking at it like it's bubble gum on a Tuesday, and it is amazing. So I'm really enjoying that, and and right. I also finally finished The Rings of Power. Have we talked about that?
Oh, I have not yet finished The Rings of Power. I still have, I think, 2 episodes left. It's just like a bunch of other stuff came out at the same time, and it just ended up pushing it down my list.
Well,
it's like I keep thinking like, oh, when we get to Christmas and things settle down, I'll get a chance to watch some of the stuff that I missed.
Right.
I'm the ghost of Christmas future pointing at you and laughing.
Krissy, have you seen it? Have you watched all of it?
I have not watched all of it. I watched like the first half of it, and then I just I felt so left behind by like everything being presented as if like, well, you all remember this person and this place and this object, and I'm like, but I don't though. I don't remember. Can you just please tell me what it is? Like, I don't know.
Why
who
do you
anyone
keep
is.
stabbing
I was
yourself
actually
in the
recommended
wrist with that
by
thing?
by a friend of the show, Amy Shaw, actually recommended a podcast to help her. That she said that helped her understand it too. It's called The Council of Elrond. And the other nice thing about it is they're from the UK. So you get to hear some lovely accents as they're talking about it. So they actually went through, like, here's what you need to know going into the show. And then they would, like, break it down. As it's like they were very helpful in terms of, like, keeping everything straight. Because, yeah, I love the Peter Jackson movies and I've read the books, but like I read them in high school and I have
Same.
not touched them since. So whenever they come up like, oh, now here's Grindelwald, and you're like, sure.
And is that a thing? Is
Right.
that a person? Is that
Like
an
I was
object?
so pleased with myself when they introduced Celebrimbor. I'm like, I know who that is because they use him in the video games. But
Oh,
if
huh.
anyone else,
They
they would
use
do
him
a
in the
thing, and I was
video
like,
games.
yeah, that was
That's amazing.
He's like one of the main characters in the video game.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I enjoyed it.
good.
I felt like it took me a little while to get over the hump of that show. You know, they have the humps, these shows.
Yes.
And
I think that's where I am. I think I'm on the
yeah,
hump.
I could get over the hump of a number of shows early, and the earlier I get over them, the easier it is to finish them. And like the Peripheral, I got over very early. Rings of Power took me 4 or 5 episodes. Like it was a fight, and then I just wanted to finish, and it was rewarding. I have no significant problems with that show.
Okay.
And the internet, you've heard of the internet, sort of
yes.
blew up with like, oh, I called it, spoiler, etc. I wasn't truly spoiled. Like, I feel like right before it was revealed to me, or you know that feeling like, oh, that was the reveal. That was the big twist secret in shows writ large. Right. And then you feel like you knew it all along, so you feel kind of smug. That's totally me. Like, I didn't know it all along, but I kind of feel like I do now, which I think is a compliment. Like it's a mark of a good show that it's able to make me feel rewarded like that. So I actually thought it was just fine. And still, to the very last minute, you can see every dollar on screen. Like that is
true.
That is true. Beautiful show. So watch it on mute if you don't love it. It is sure good looking.
There's some shows that I have seen recently where I'm very clearly like, oh, you guys got your budget cut. Like,
this
it's
one
a shame.
Didn't.
Yeah, this one does not. This one they went all the way. I have a sort of a small challenge. Like we'll be playing a game, but this is more of a topic of conversation because I've got an opportunity to show a bunch of stuff to my teenage daughter. And so we're sort of getting into some interesting things, and we're actually getting into being able to watch movies on a regular basis. So like she just got to see The Truman Show for the first time. Right. That went extremely well. And as we were having, and then so we get into conversations, like, you know, I started talking about beforehand, like here's sort of where we were at as a society beforehand. You know, I give her like a little like, here's what we're talking about here. And then also here's where the actors and stuff were before and what, you know, cause like, to understand, to get that sort of that second level of the Truman Show to go, Jim Carrey was known for this. Like he was, you know, like to show, you know, to see, I wouldn't actually show her Ace Ventura because she would hate it because it has not aged well.
No.
But she's seen The Mask and so like to go like, okay, it's that guy. And then doing this was a huge sort of change. But during the conversations and talking about different people in their careers, I realized she's never seen a Quentin Tarantino movie. Now I understand, like like I said, I like to talk to her beforehand. So we're going to talk about language. We're going to talk about a particular word that Quentin likes to put in his character's mouth. We're going to talk about that. We're talking about violence. So understand that I will have that covered. So
Kyle, I have
like
a question.
objectionable material,
we're going to talk about foot fetishes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring that up too because like it's gonna be there. So, but my question to you, my fellow ghosts, is where do I start? Like, now I have the chance to show her her first Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't know what it should be.
Wow.
Right?
My gut says True Romance. You go chronological.
Oh, you go okay, but not which he did not direct. So you think like that's I love that movie, but you think as a way to sort of like get into the rhythms without going full QT.
Well, as you said, when you're talking about Jim Carrey, like understanding where he came from, like you know, Quentin Tarantino was a writer and first, and then a director. So that's
I have zero problems. I've had one.
You know where
I watched
you
that
start,
movie in a
Kyle?
while.
His episode of Golden Girls.
And then the rest of the ER that he directed.
Yes.
Well, I was
That's
going
how
to
you
say CSI, which actually,
okay.
in all seriousness, that double episode was extraordinary. It was really, really great. But so you're going to skip because
Well, I don't know.
I don't
That's
know. I
the
feel
question,
like
though. So True Romance, okay, True Romance, I'll give it a place of honor. That's
it
great.
sort
But
of
like
it
when we
sort
get
of
into
depends.
like his big nine,
Yeah, but I mean, it sort of depends on what is what is it that you want her to get out of it. Like, if you just are interested in like the kind of filmmaking, but sort of empty cultural calories that come out of it, you might start with something like From Dusk Till Dawn. It's got the most
okay,
monstery kind of vampire-y kind of like it trucks in tropes that you can really
True.
sink your teeth into, but also is
Ha.
Quentin Tarantino-y. Yeah, do you see what I did there?
I do too.
I think if you want to on the other side of that argument, you start with Reservoir Dogs because it's the most Quentin Tarantino of Quentin Tarantino, right? It's like it is the most like white shirt, black tie of all of the movies, and it
long
seeds
conversations,
everything.
a lot of blood. Yeah,
exactly, and a lot of close up stuff that's hard to watch. So I don't know. I feel like those two are on the spectrum. You want to have conversations about Quentin Tarantino as a filmmaker. You don't start with From Dusk Till Dawn. You start with Reservoir Dogs, right? And Pulp Fiction. You want to go.
My instinct was to go with Inglourious Bastards because it's like it's very ensemble-y thing, but it's also I think holds up. Whereas a lot of the other ones sort of require a little bit more like, okay, here's what was going on in this that's sort of outside of itself. Plus, I also have what I was trying to explain to her about narrative tension. I basically have told her the scene, at the dinner table, with the cream.
Right.
Like, basically to explain sort of how you can have an exciting moment without having blood or guts or any kind of stuff. Like it's just people sitting around a table and it's riveting, and to explain that to. But I worry about showing something like that and then rewinding back to Pulp Fiction, and you go, how is that the same person?
That's why I would I would be more nervous about starting with the later stuff, and particularly Inglourious Bastards and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which take a true thing and make it not true. And that I feel like is like until you know Quentin Tarantino and kind of what he's going for in his filmmaking, it makes those emptier. Like I think you get more out of them once you know what he's all about. I don't know. I may be overthinking that, but you immediately just asked me to overthink it.
I did.
So, yeah.
Krissy, what do you? I mean, so are you thinking Reservoir Dogs as well after True Romance?
I would. I would go Reservoir Dogs. That's I would go in order. I would show his path. And I think you can skip some on the journey. But you do the big hits from.
So like Destiny Turns on the Radio, you think should be off the table?
Take that off the off the
I
list.
am curious, like what are all like is there a set of films you would skip, Krissy? I'm really curious. Like what do you think is what's the set of films?
For me, I would immediately eliminate Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. I would also skip, even though it's like a really good film. Like I would skip Jackie Brown and let her come back to it if she decides she wants more. Same with Hateful Eight. Skip that and let her come back to it if she really wants to like get down into the nitty gritty of the Tarantino universe. But I would probably do True Romance, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and then skip way ahead to Inglourious Bastards. And
where do you put Kill Bill?
Oh shoot!
That was actually the one that's what started the train rolling.
Yeah,
is like because Uma Thurman for whatever reason has been coming up a lot. Like like the song has been around. Like it came back again in our lives and stuff too. And I was like, oh, she's never seen Kill Bill. And then I kind of went, oh, she's never seen a Quentin. Like I don't think you can start with Kill Bill.
I don't think so either.
So that's sort of what I'm trying to do is sort of build up a little bit of like you have to understand what it is to get to that point.
Yeah.
I think of the films that
which I know I just derailed the conversation you were having with Krissy, but
no. I actually think it's given me stuff to think about. I don't think I would skip. I like the Krissy plan, the Krissy Pete plan of watching them in order.
Okay.
I think you could get away with skipping, even though I enjoy the film and it took me a while to come around to it, but Natural Born Killers, I think you could skip.
Ooh, skip.
Yeah,
I think
me
you could do the Reservoir Dogs, True Romance, come back around to From Dusk Till Dawn, Kill Bill. So you're skipping then Jackie Brown to come back to that one. And I also think you could skip Death Proof, right? Or Grindhouse, right? As a whole. Like, come back to that. It isn't a seminal work of Tarantino.
Back to it.
Yeah,
if you need more.
If you really want.
Circle back
right?
around. Zoe Bell.
Yeah. But then we have like those last three films, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You're going to skip Hateful Eight. But Django, keep in there.
Django.
And Once Upon a Time. So Inglorious, Django, and Once Upon a Time. I think I'm an island that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of my very, very favorites of his. Like,
I
like that.
I was actually really, really pleased with it.
Yeah,
I sort of having seen. I didn't hate Hateful Eight. I saw the 3-hour roadshow version of it in IMAX. Like I went to like a special thing, and I was like, this is really long.
Long.
Just sitting there going like, man, this is the problem when like you don't have a really powerful editor on it to go.
You know what's interesting about it?
Maybe we don't need
the Netflix,
15 minutes of just snow.
Was it the Netflix release where they released it like a show, a 4-part
that I have
series?
not watched yet.
Yeah,
I think it actually might work better.
Yeah,
like to have it like each chapter as like an episode of a show.
It was great. Yeah,
so I'm curious, and apparently in the news now, that's the way he's going for his next project, which I think is like long overdue. Because I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood probably could have done that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a whole nother movie that got cut out of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my chief complaint now. I find at the movies is like too long.
Uh-huh.
Edit this movie, So turn it into a series, then you can have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your
curriculum.
Opinions. I will. I'll have to circle back to let you know what she thought. So, but that's the thing. The way things are. Let's move into the future and talk about trailers. So I got in there first. Now, I chose something a little different. Now, as everyone on the internet knows, right before we went live, a ton of trailers dropped.
Yeah, all at once.
Really, really powerful. And I think at probably the end of our segment, we're going to talk a little bit about some of those. But I want you to know, I watched all of them, and I didn't like any of them as much as I liked the trailer for Darby and the Dead.
I'm Darby Harper.
Just watch me.
Are you sitting down for this? I see dead people. I help them pass on to the next realm. You'd think that'd be my life's biggest burden, but it is a distant second to where I am forced to spend my days. High school. That's Capri Donahue, head cheerleader.
Isn't cheer just for shallow, hot girls? I'm so glad you asked. And the answer is, that's offensive.
Capri knows I'm the one person she can't get to like her.
Darby, forgot you went here.
Capri, give me my clothes.
Why would I take your clothes? I'm not planning on attending a funeral.
She can be a little extra sometimes.
Extra psychotic.
I'm reporting live from Frederick Douglass High School, where yesterday students witnessed the shocking death of head cheerleader Capri Donahue.
Wake up!
Wake up, bitch. Oh, God damn it.
You can see me.
What are you doing here?
My Sweet 17 is coming up in a month. All I want is this party. Help me. Then I'll move on.
In what world do you think I can throw your dream party?
In a world where I make you popular enough to do it.
So this is a movie I knew absolutely nothing about. That came out of nowhere. One of the things I really like in terms of supernatural stories, like, Tommy doesn't like vampire stories and like those kind of things. We talk about that. I am a real big fan of medium movies. People who can see that, speak with it in the Sixth Sense sort of way. There's not a lot of them out there. And so when I see someone who is not only doing that and doing it in a way I've never seen before and taking all the high school tropes and weaving it together, man, I could not be there fast enough. This is absolutely right in my wheelhouse. I cannot wait to see this, and I won't have to wait very long. So, Pete, what did you think of the trailer?
I think that your setup is appropriate. I watched this trailer and I was surprised you picked it. Knowing how you feel about medium movies answers a lot of questions for me. Yeah. I didn't. I felt like this was a hodgepodge of a lot of things I felt like I've seen before, and I didn't get a sense that any of them were done particularly cleverly, but I often see trailers like this, and I'm very surprised when the movie comes out and the trailer did not sell the concept well. For me, this trailer has way too much of the fish out of water high school up front, and then gets into the tropes of the medium, and then there's this. It feels like a Disney Plus kids special. The ghost actually can move you around, kind of as like telepathy kind of thing going on. So it was a lot of things that I feel like they may have missed what the movie ultimately is, having not seen the movie. So I guess I'm hoping they missed what the movie actually is. Because I didn't find myself really connecting with it, even though all the performers look charming, and I can see how a setup like this would work. I didn't find myself really connecting with it.
Okay. All right. So, Krissy, what'd you think?
I really loved it. I thought it seemed really Heathersy to me at first.
That's the vibe I got too.
And Mean Girls, and I was like, is this a new update on Heathers? And then when it turned out she could see the ghost, and the ghost wanted some sort of quest type thing, I was like, ooh, okay, I'm in. And it seemed like funny and kind of goofy and silly, which I love. But it seemed to be too, like, at first I thought it was going to be a series. I was really surprised that it's a movie. Yeah. Because I thought it was going to be, like an 8-part show. But I'm excited to watch it.
I feel like you described what, like you said, it felt like Heathers. It felt like all those things. It felt like kind of that's exactly like it was aware that it was trying to be Heathers. Maybe I felt like it was working too hard.
Well, I think that if they push the ghost stuff too hard, they're going to push away the crowd, the Riverdale crowd,
right?
Who might not go into this. So I think that they sort of are aiming it in that direction, and then sort of bringing in the other creepier stuff too.
Yeah,
sort of the Nancy Drew side of it, I guess.
Yeah,
right.
In the world, it's all CW these days.
I guess we need more CW, right?
Only CW.
There's not going to be a CW for much longer.
Well,
so
but that's what it seemed like to me, was the show that would be on CW. That's what it felt like. I'm like, oh, coming soon to the CW is this, and I would watch a whole show of it. I think I'd give it a first season try.
Well, if you want to test it out, you can do so right now because it's available on Hulu immediately. So while you're listening to this, I'm probably watching it. So, all right. So then that's the end of mine. Well, let's go over to Krissy. What did you find?
Well, I decided, to just choose something that's been out for a while that everybody's probably seen, as opposed to all this new fancy stuff, because no one had done it yet. So I chose Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're at ex-con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this. It's like a satellite for deep space, but quantum.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now! Secret universe beneath ours. What are you so afraid of? There's something I never told you.
This place. It isn't what you think. I can get you home. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be? Batman.
It's got all the things that I like about Ant-Man. He's cute, he's funny, he's quirky, he's getting put upon by the world, and all of a sudden we're gonna go into a Michelle Pfeiffer mystery in the quantum realm. Yeah, sign me up. I'm in for it. What did you guys think?
I like it a lot. It is I like it a lot when he's like in the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it feels like that's the vibe. That's the vibe that I want from Paul Rudd. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I love meeting his daughter in this movie. I love that whole conversation. And then they get swept down into the quantum realm, and I just start to, I don't like to say it out loud because I don't want to admit it as a Marvel bull. But I did feel like I felt the fatigue of the swirling rainbow colors and stuff, like and alt takes on Elton John music. Like I love that stuff. And also there's so much of it, and maybe this is why I loved Andor so much. Like it was so grounded, but it was in a familiar universe. And so I felt like the beginning of Quantumania was like, I know it's on the tin. They're going to Quantumania. I get it. But maybe it's, I hope they do it very, very well. Let's just say that, because it's a lot of swirlies.
Swirlies.
So many swirlies.
Well, this was really hitting all my buttons. This is everything I like. I mean, I love Peyton Reed. I can't wait to see what he does after Ant-Man, now that he's sort of gotten a chance to play on the big scale. This cast is fantastic. Jonathan Majors looking fantastic. Kang the Conqueror is one of my favorite villains of all time. Like, I am so in the bag for this, and I thought the Elton John Needle drop was fantastic. Like, that song has been like haunting me for the last couple of months, and it was great seeing it come up here again. I think this is the teaser trailer. I think we're only seeing the first act.
Yes.
I think there's going to be. I think there's your swirly thing. Okay, fine. Like I'm just happy for color these days.
Yeah,
like there's so many movies that come out. It's just like so brown. Great.
Yeah.
I went like for my trailer too. Like the fact that like, oh good, someone remembered that cameras now shoot in color. That's so nice. So like I'm a big fan of seeing the big bright swirly colors. But I think there's going to be a lot more to this, because I think that like we see sort of the regular guy set up. We see the sucked into the world. We see me, and I think that's sort of into Act 2, and that's it. Like I think there's a whole like at least third of this movie that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And like what is the job that he's sending him on? Because obviously, if it's something in the quantum realm, we've got people that could handle that. So it's got to be something back here. And what is it? Is it alternate reality? Is it time travel? Who knows? But it's good. It's a heist, is what we know. But that's
which
all we
is
know.
Perfect. That's what we want, right? Because that was what was so great about Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man, it was great and grounded, and that's what I wanted. And so I see like the swirlies I associate with Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's the James Gunn thing. And what worries me is going into spending too much time in the quantum realm is like crossing over territory that belongs to Doctor Strange and the Guardians. And I don't need it to be in every Marvel movie. I don't need that. And so that's what I struggle with. So I am also optimistic for this movie. It hits a lot of buttons. I love Paul Rudd. Of course we'll see it, but it hit me right there.
Okay. All right. Well then luckily you've chosen a small independent film.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
For your trailer. Something I don't think. I mean, like you have to. You might have to do a hard sell on this one because like, who is this? What's going on? Why is this old man wearing a hat? Like
it's Indiana Jones, everybody. It's Indiana Jones. Okay, we'll be back in a minute.
I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Those days have come and gone.
Perhaps not.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe. It's how hard you believe it.
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
Related.
Get back.
You guys, Indiana Jones 5. Here's the problem that I have with that trailer. Here's the principal problem that I have with that trailer. Is
wow,
that
we really activated crusty old Pete
no,
tonight.
let me tell you, this I hate this trailer because after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I was ready to be done, and I liked this trailer. I liked this trailer a lot. It hit the right notes for me, and I got the chilly chills at the fugue. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God!
The new orchestration of that. Oh man,
I was very surprised at how well they were able to hit that note. Salah's voice in the back as the voiceover leading to him looking very old. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I didn't think that I would. I thought that I was ready to put Indy to bed after Sean Connery, and I think he might be back. I hope they're able to put Harrison Ford's role to bed with class in this movie. It seems like they're setting the table for it well.
I too loved it. I thought it was so exciting. It felt so cozy. And like that's what you want at this time of year is like a cozy, fluffy slippers of a movie. And I just can't wait to cuddle up with the new Indiana Jones.
So crazy that we're having this conversation.
I know. I never thought we'd be here, Pete. I never thought it would come to this, but I am absolutely with both of you. Where I was like, oh man, like it's not Spielberg directing it, and he's not a spring chicken. Like, please don't make Harrison Ford run. Like, the man's earned his rest.
Don't put Harrison Ford on a horse. That must break both hips.
Don't do that. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, I believe again.
Yeah.
I believe he can ride a horse.
I mean, from what I understand and what they've revealed is that there will be a early part of it, the early, like maybe even before credits, will be a Nazi 1940s flashback. And we get to see that when we pull the bag off his head. That's the de-aging that they had done there. And then whatever happens there will then directly influence the story that's in the 60s. I think I don't know what the exact 60s, 70s, whatever it is that affected now. So like the two things will sort of, connect or whatever. And that's where our adventure will kick off. But yeah, like same thing, like having Salah back, I think is fantastic. And like the music, I mean, I hope that they're just not going to just do a more reprising of old gags. Like at the end of the thing with the whip and everybody pulls out their guns. okay. Like, you found a new way to do the same gag again. But at the same time, it's okay to do new things. Yeah. You don't have to just reference stuff that happened in his earlier adventures,
Yeah.
But then that way lies, Shia LaBeouf and monkeys. So we got to be careful how far we go.
I don't need that. I don't need ants. There are things I don't need, but they did hit the right emotional tones with the trailer, I think. And it does have the right people. I mean, Papa McCall, James Mangold. I think it's got maybe the right people, some fresh eyes on the property. Here's hoping that those elements of the nothing newness, are actually the nods for the trailer, and that's fine.
So
maybe that's
when can we see the last ride?
We
of
can
Indiana
see
Jones?
this June 30th, 2023 in the U.S. Is when we can expect it. It's going to be the big summer thing. It's going to be a big summer thing. I believe the kids are calling it a tentpole.
That's right. The question is, will it still be? Will the audience still be there for it? I mean, they came out for Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. So hopefully, there's the boomer crowd is still there with their discretionary income. So we went to press. The trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out, and I saw it, and I kind of went, okay, that's what you guys are doing, huh? Right.
Yeah, but you're a noted bear on Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am a noted Drax hater. Yeah. And the first joke in this trailer is Drax being mean and then stupid, which are the only two things that he's allowed to do anymore. And I was like, oh, yeah, never mind. Okay, great. At this point, sure, let Guardians Volume 3 wrap it up, move on. I'm ready for it to be done.
Very much like the end of Guardians. This feels like this isn't a Thor thing. Like we're gonna keep making questionable Thor movies forever. But
I love
this does feel like
movies.
the
end. So here's my problem is that there's 3 of these trailers now have come out in a very short period of time that I think Hollywood's about to do something really, really stupid next year because it's my unfounded opinion that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Indiana Jones, and the Dial of Destiny, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will feature the death of the hero. I think they're going to kill off all of them in 6 months. I think all of them are going to be dead. And I don't think that anyone has done the math on this and went, oh no. There's going to be heroic gravestones paid all through next summer. And I don't think anyone in the big business has realized it yet.
Just what kind of grief we're going to be walking into the last of these 3 movies.
Right. Like, do you guys remember how you felt when Tony Stark died?
Yeah.
Get ready.
Oh my God.
You're about to see the hat fall. Like, it's...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Stop it, Kyle.
Yeah. I say this is not insider knowledge. This is not. I know nothing. I just watched these trailers and went, "Oh, these are the last rides for all of these guys." Yeah. Now I don't know that I'm ready.
Well, that's how you get ready is by watching all the Quentin Tarantino films, so you learn that everything is impermanent and no one gets out alive, right?
Yeah, right.
So that you're just prepared to lose everything you care about.
Yeah. Be prepared to lose what you care about. Krissy, you're just a rainbow of just light and shining.
Well, she is the ghost of Christmas yet to come. And speaking of the next thing to come, hey, do you guys hear that? It seems like there's maybe a storm coming out here, lighting, and maybe it's time for a pitch storm.
Oh no!
That's right.
Okay,
we are playing a little bit of Pitch Storm, the party game of amazing/terrible movie ideas. Now, I played this with Pete before, but I've not played with Krissy, and that's why I was so excited to. So I'm going to explain to you how this works. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go onto Discord. I'm going, oh, look at that. Pete bought one from the last time we played. So the idea is that I am a movie executive, and you are going to be pitching a movie to me. But I am going to be giving you the character, the main character and the basic plot of it. And then you're going to have to tell me what that movie is. And at the end of your pitch, tell me what the name of it is. So I will give you an example of how this works. I'm just going to pull cards at random. So I would send you a card that says, your movie is a child beauty pageant queen matches wits with a wily leprechaun.
Oh boy.
So you're going to pitch me what that movie is, and at the end of it, tell me what the name is, and you have a 2-minute time limit.
2-minute time limit for the whole pitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not the time you get to think about it.
No,
I made that mistake, and it's just a lot of dead air. Just nobody talking. So don't do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to let
in.
Pete go first, so he can hear first. So I'm going to. So it's going to be Pete, and then you'll get your prompt, and then we'll go back. And so that's a round. So we do this. We do this in 3 rounds. Okay. Here is your pitch. Waiting for his reaction. There it is.
Okay.
Okay. Are you prepared to pitch?
I'm prepared. I'm totally prepared. Are you ready?
Okay, the clock starts now.
What we have is a young Zac Efron. He's from just outside of Dallas, and he's playing a character named Tex Reckham. But unfortunately, Tex was actually, he was asleep on a bench and drunk and didn't recognize that he had been drugged and kidnapped and taken for medical experimentation on a mysterious island. Oh no, you might be thinking, is that just part of the story? Yeah, you're right, because the other part is the other experiments on this island, they're making dinosaurs. That's right. We're gonna mix up a little bit of Cloak and Dagger. Kids love the comics, kidnapping the youth, and we're putting them on the Jurassic Park island and putting them together. And now, Zac Efron, hungry youth, medical experiment, has to escape Jurassic Park, and we're calling it Amazosaurus Tex.
Love it.
Amazosaurus Tex. Bravo. Krissy, you've just seen a textbook version of how it is done. And in 1 minute. You did it in 1 minute.
Now I feel so intimidated.
Amazosaurus Tex. Just right off the dome. Right there.
Right off the dome.
Born improviser.
Don't worry. This is the curse of any expectations. It's all downhill from there. I'm sure there is vapor lock in my future.
I can see the poster. It's like his face, and he's like looking to the right, and then the dinosaur's face is like looking to the left.
Looking to the left.
And then the outline of in the middle, there's a glowing like beam of light that shoots up, and there's some sort of like thing at the top that's the quest. Oh, I gotta look at what Kyle's saying.
See now I was because it's I would think it's more of a comedy, right? I would think it's going to be like him like running straight at the camera with like a expression on his face with like that really, like wacky and angry dinosaurs behind him. Like, here's one problem that Charlie can't outrun, whatever. Tex, I'm sorry, Rex, Texan, whatever it is.
Tex Reckham. He can't.
Tex Reckham? Tex.
Yeah.
All right. Krissy, are you ready with your pitch?
I'm ready. So as we all know, reality television has been everywhere, right? We've been to Love Islands. We've seen models do their thing. We've seen baking shows. We've seen everything that there is to see here on dry land. But where have we not seen any of these wonderful things? Under the sea, baby. So, a bright, enterprising young star, a little baby Tom Holland, if you will, is just beginning his career as a reality show huckster, and he's got to go out on a limb to make it big. So what does he do? He goes to the bottom of the ocean to find the great undersea baking show. Now, this is where you've seen it happen in Britain, but this is all how do you bake when you're ensconced in water? When there's nothing but sea and salt. The salt is really gonna make your bottom soggy. So this is of course, as everyone knows, the Great Undersea Bake Off.
Is that the name of the movie?
The title.
Great Undersea
That's the
Bake
name
Off?
of the movie, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go with. I thought you were going to go with Soggy Bottoms. So.
The Soggy Sea Bottoms. Yes.
The Soggy Sea Bottoms.
Okay. Right.
Where's the Paul Hollywood handshake?
It's all webbed. The undersea of Paul Hollywood is all webbed.
Well, I think that we would be doing a disservice to America without having Zac Efron fighting dinosaurs. So I think that's
true.
Oh, that's the one?
Yep, I think that's the one. All right, so let's move on to round 2. Okay, so round 2, one thing that every writer in Hollywood knows is they have to deal with rewrites. So in round 2, what we will do is you can choose whether you want to go first or second. So the idea is that you will be both pitching on the same idea. So you either get to do first and try and dominate and someone go after you, or you can listen to what the other person did and then try and do it better. So we're gonna do it both ways. So we're gonna basically, you guys get ahead too, but you get to choose sort of which way you want to go first. So, Krissy, would you like to go first, or would you like to rewrite?
I'll go first.
Okay. There is your prompt. Okay. Now, Pete, you're gonna have to listen to this one too, because you're going to have to then do the other pitch off of it. So, okay. Go.
It's everyone's favorite movie world, right? It is a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but this one is animated and inhabited largely by squirrels. Okay. Now, these are future squirrels. They can use the internet because in this post-apocalyptic world, they have the internet. Now that's just a backdrop so we can get some corporate money on here and get some of that Google bucks into this story. Now we've got 2 squirrels in particular, voiced of course by who else but Flynn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Brown. Okay, they've discovered something that nobody believes. They've discovered that their big giant tree that all of their post-apocalyptic squirrels live in is about to be torn down so that an internet tower can be built there. Now we're saying the internet is good and the internet is evil both at the same time. Which is for the audience to decide. But the most important thing is as they convince their colony of post-apocalyptic squirrels to flee their doomed tree, what do they find? Love. The teen romance between 2 post-apocalyptic squirrels. One who has magic brain powers also.
Okay. And the name of this movie is?
It's called All Squirreled Up. And then in parentheses, don't know what to do.
All squirreled up, don't know what to do. Okay. All right. So
wow.
Pete, we've had a meeting with Krissy, and she had a very interesting idea, but I think we can take it in a new direction. So we want to hear what your thoughts are on this post-apocalyptic squirrel romance movie.
Oh, the squirrel movie. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, now if I recall, I think Krissy's pitch was that this was animated, right?
Yes.
I think if we're going to take this seriously, we need to put some big bucks in it. I don't want it just animated. I want hyper realistic, real fur blowing in the wind of these crazy squirrels. This squirrel partnership will be believed up until the point that you realize these are human-sized squirrels and they have been radiated by the radiation coming from the tower. And so not only this introduces a new level of conflict, am I right? That not only do they have to bring down the tower, but they also have to hide their identity. So we get a lot of comic hijinks with them wearing, men's and women's clothes and trying to hide their tails and, streak back their fur. Unfortunately, the female presenting squirrel will be played by Aubrey Plaza. She likes to get high a lot. And let's see, who would be? I think Benedict Cumberbatch would probably be a great voice opposite
sure.
Aubrey. And he's always trying to restrain her drug abuse. But in fact, their real mission together is to come together as a couple in spite of their problems and bring down this mighty tower. And the movie will be called Blaze Hightower.
Blaze Hightower. Okay. Now, just for curiosity's sake, what do you think Krissy's prompt was?
The whole time I'm thinking, were squirrels involved? Was the radio tower involved? Are they hyper irradiated? Is this a romance at all? I have no idea. But squirrels were so central. I imagine it was some sort of squirrels in a romance of some sort.
No, the squirrels were pure Krissy. The prompt was friendly woodland creatures forced to flee their home because of pollution in an awkward teenage romance.
Oh, man. And you ended up with a stoned Aubrey Plaza led around by Benedict Cumberbatch.
I guess I should have read the prompts for the earlier ones, too. But
that's funny. Okay.
That was good. Okay, all right. So I've got 2 squirrel movies now that I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to do.
I don't know how you're going to shout that. Give them to Zaslav.
So Pete, do you want to go first? Do you want the prompt, or do you want to rewrite?
I would like to go first.
Okay. Your prompt has been sent. It's a real interesting mashup. I'm curious to see what you do with this.
Well, that's
so. Krissy, what did you think of his rewriting idea? Is that like if we came back to you with that, would you?
Yeah.
Would you continue on with that way?
If my movie was the movie from your 80s childhood, his is the gritty live action reboot that we're getting now as adults.
Yes. Very nice. Yes, that's the M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark.
All right, Pete.
Okay.
Are you ready to pitch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. The thing that we find most interesting is when we look at these at sort of conflicts over time, is a great way to put these sorts of emotional issues on stage for the people to create thought is by taking someone out of time and putting them into another time to see how they'll react. And I think we have the perfect idea. It's essentially an Ig and Ook story. We've got a couple of cavemen. We've got Johnny Depp and probably Zoe Deutsch. They've been frozen for a bazillion years, and they come out right in the middle of World War II. They're thawed because a building crumbles and knocks open their cave, and so they're able to thaw very quickly. It's a rapid defrost, and they come out and realize that they've learned a couple of things about themselves as they emerge into the world. One, they're no longer cannibals. They were, but they're no longer cannibals. And not only are they no longer cannibals, they fall in love with humanity. They find humanity in themselves by looking at humanity for others, and they decide they're going to become agents of peace. And they then begin their crusade to save the lives of the both soldiers and civilians during World War II throughout Poland. This is a Poland story, and so they are that is their story, and they actually become agents of peace and avatars for peace, and they stop all war forever.
Okay, and then what is the name of this film?
It's called Never Hungry Again.
Never hungry again.
Wow, starring Johnny Depp.
I've got Oscar buzz already.
That is an awful movie. Good luck.
So, Krissy, We had a very interesting pitch recently about Johnny Depp as a cannibal caveman fighting Nazis. But we're looking for a different angle on it. So have you got sort of a different take on this story?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the key to this story is the time travel and the ending all the wars, right? So he's gonna be frozen again at the end of World War II.
Okay.
So that he can be reawakened should there ever be a World War III. And while he is frozen, there's an accidental mix-up. Oopsie doopsie. He gets unfrozen, but there's no World War III for him to fight because he ended all the wars. Then they froze him again just in case, so he goes back to being a cannibal because he loves humanity so much. But he has to feast on its deliciousness since there's no bad guy for him to fight. He's just gonna eat people who are internet trolls.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the new war.
Okay. All right. So then what is the name of this film that you're talking about?
It's called Eat, Pray, Cookie.
Eat, Pray, Cookie. Okay.
And there's a mug that goes with it.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, if there's merchandising,
it's called Avast Ye Nazis.
I smelled the franchise possibilities, and now merchandising. I mean, how can I say no? So, Krissy, I'm curious, what do you think the prompt actually was?
Unfrozen cavemen cannibals.
Okay. Well,
I call that sweet victory.
A lot of the details came right from Pete. So the prompt was, actually, it starts out on the card, exterior tundra. A tribe of cavemen hunting for food try to save as many people as possible from the Nazis in World War II.
Oh, nice.
How else do you get them there, Tundra?
Well, the only winner in that round was Johnny Depp, because I don't want to make either of those movies. All right, so we're going down to round 3. So round 3, if there's one thing that people hate more than rewrites, it's notes. So in the middle of your pitch, the studio executive, played by moi, will suddenly throw you a curveball that you have to incorporate into your pitch and make it make sense. So an example of that would be, let's say in the middle of your post-apocalyptic squirrel movies, I'll say, so we only have $100 for special effects. Can you make that work?
Yes.
And you have to, the answer is always yes, but then, So.
It's all hand puppets.
Let's have Pete to go first. Just let's give Krissy's brain a rest. She just went, she just sent us into eating internet trolls, which I think is a position we can all get behind. So Pete, I'm going to send you a pitch. Give you a note. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Pitch it.
All right, so we're trying again for some. We're doing some fish out of water stuff. We've got we've got Clooney in Thank You for Smoking. We really enjoyed what he was going for there. We've decided we're gonna use I think bench strength George Clooney, Ron Livingston. And he is going to be a former sales executive for a big book publisher, but what he actually he fails down because of downsizing and stuff, and realizes that he falls right in the middle of the greeting card industry, and he has to bring American greetings back from irrelevance, and he has to do it through what he thinks is first clever turns of phrase, but he realizes no, it's not clever turns of phrase. It's back alley dealing, it's bribes, it's corruption, it's drugs, and ultimately it's guns.
Wow.
All of that for it's the story of American Greetings, and it's called.
Okay, let me pause you right there.
Okay.
This is fantastic. I love it. I love everything I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But what if everything you've said so far was the flashback before the actual main story of the movie happened?
I see. Well, then we're telling our once drug runner story or gun runner story, who was just trying to bring American Greetings greeting cards back from relevance. We're telling his story as an old man, and this time he is a mentor to a future leader of the organization, and he is battling his own personal demons of not becoming irrelevant as he is being essentially moved out of the organization by this young upcoming upstart of a greeting card writer played by
and sure and the name of this movie is
well it's called the beauty of the moment.
Oh
yeah I can see it now. I can see the CG greeting card open, the beauty of the moment, with Ron Livingston and a de-aged Paul Giamatti.
De-aged Paul Giamatti. So, Krissy.
Okay.
I'm going to be sending you one.
What is everyone hungry for right now? I think we learned as soon as that trailer dropped, everybody wants more Mario, more Super Mario, more Luigi, more Princess Peach, right? So a very tech-savvy, brilliant pair of teens in their high school science experiment. They're, of course, Flynn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Brown. They bring
so hot
Mario out of the video game world. Kapow! He's here in the real world. And all of America is so immediately overwhelmed with love for Mario that even though it's not election season, bada boop, they create a way to make Mario the president of the United States. Even though he is, as we all know, an Italian citizen, we're breaking all the rules now because Mario has so much leadership skill that he is ready to.
Let me pause your pitch right there. I like what you're talking about. Mario is really hot right now. Finn Wolfhard and Emily Bobby Brown are really hot right now. But what I found that my teenage daughter is really into right now is cheerleading. I would like to make the plot of this movie central to a cheerleading competition. So can you do that for me?
Absolutely. Yes, of course. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I think that is absolutely what is missing. Now, in this future of America, some people don't like that everyone just went, Mario's president. Mario's president. They were like, hey, it doesn't have to be an election, but it does have to be some kind of meritocracy. So Mario and his dance crew have to square off against the winningest dance crew ever. Now, here's where we bring in the crossover with the hit Netflix series Cheer, because this is the Navarro cheer squad.
Okay.
Against...
I'm sorry, I have another meeting I have to get to. So, what is the name of that movie?
It's called Super Mario Sunshine Cheer Squad, a Palooza, a Go-Go Electric Boogaloo.
Wow, it'll be in every theater across the country if they have enough letters for the marquee. And that's how we play Pitch Fest.
Yay!
And the winner is the audience. It was really neat.
So funny.
And it's a game that I can buy for my family?
Yeah, you can. You can just go to Pitch Store. It's like $25 or something like that, and you have a ton of these cards. I mean, there's
heck yeah.
You got all the different ones. So, I mean, like
I love it.
Even stuff I'm pulling out. So yeah, it's funny. Pete, when you first started doing your pitch for your greeting card one, the studio note I pulled out was, let's make all the characters middle-aged men. And I was like, oh, he already
did that. I'm the worst.
I quietly set that one aside and move another one out there. So that was Pitch Fest. So thank you both for playing.
Love it.
So all right. So let's see. In the let's move on to then the list challenge. So last time, it wasn't last week, but last time we were challenged to do films where two powerhouse stars join forces, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was, I had a harder time with this one. Like, Tommy was like pretty bullish about it, and like,
note he's
about,
not here.
Yeah, right. Doing Heat and all that kind of stuff. And I really had a hard time. I ended up like cruising through a lot of lists of a lot of bad movies looking for something. I went to the Razzies. I mean, like I really had to dig and dig and dig. So I don't have a lot of alternates this one.
Especially movies that I've seen. That was
that too. That was a thing for me too.
Yeah.
Like I see all the stuff and I'm like, yeah, I don't know that movie. I can't comment on it. So my first one is actually more recent. It was one of the what I guess we'll call the pandemic films. From a major studio with a ton of money, bringing two giant stars that they had made really a lot of popular stuff in their own things. They brought them together, and it didn't really work, despite the fact that they were on a jungle cruise.
Oh, Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, when you put the charisma of The Rock and the charisma of Emily Blunt together, apparently they cancel each other out because, boy, there's just a whole lot of nothing in that movie.
I didn't like that one less than you didn't like it.
I'm always down for a good adventure. Yeah. So like as an adventure, we're like, yeah, it's fine. But like, and I actually thought they had some pretty good Pirates of the Caribbean inspired twists along the way. But it was like to try and do like the romance between them is like, no, doesn't really help. Yeah.
All right.
So that's my first one. Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise.
Krissy, what do you got?
So I too struggled with this, except for the first one, which leapt to my mind immediately, because this is a pair that proved they were a powerhouse when they spent a whole movie on a bus that couldn't slow down, and everybody knew that all we wanted in the whole world was to get Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock back together again. But what we got was The Lake House. A movie
it was a magic mailbox that kept them apart.
A magic mailbox that couldn't send letters except for 2 years into the past or future.
I have a reason to watch that movie, and it is the architecture. That house is dope. And that has been a pick before, but only for that reason.
Okay.
Right. Well, that goes to me, and I am going with a classic of 2008, which weirdly on IMDb it is a 6-star movie, and it should not be because their principal characters were miscast dramatically. It has lines like, "What about the badge? Badge is good if it comes with a gun." And that's said by Al Pacino in his role opposite Robert De Niro in Righteous Kill, which ends up being a completely lampoon-worthy movie, cop movie, where both of these characters have been in much, much better cop and robber movies. This one just ends up being them stereotyping themselves in other movies. So it's rough. I don't know how it is. It does so well. It's got a real powerhouse cast: Carla Gugino, 50 Cent, Donnie Wahlberg, John Leguizamo. But man, I did not care for that movie.
Good pick.
Yeah. So I looked at a lot of lists of movies where people had really bad chemistry. And that's where I found my next one, because it was something I wholeheartedly agree with. Because sometimes auteurs should not be entrusted, despite when they've made really popular movies and franchises that are allowed to make the sequel. And that was the case in Avengers: Age of Ultron, because there's no reason that Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson should ever have been a couple, because they have zero chemistry and no one bought into that relationship, except apparently for the writer-director.
Oh, man. Wow. That is you pulling out the old man card right there. That's you doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
So back to you, Krissy.
Okay, so my second one was a pair of powerhouse comedians who I love teaming up in a movie that is worthy of the pitch storm, right? A couple need money to send their daughter to college. So what are they going to do? They're going to start an illegal casino out of their house. Only it's not funny or fun, even though Jason Mantzoukas is in it. And that is, with my house-themed picks so far, The House, starring Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell in 2017.
Totally agree with that pick. Oh my God, I totally regret not picking it myself. That's great.
What you got, Pete?
Oh, me? I kind of can't believe I have to come back to another Robert De Niro movie.
No.
I promise I don't have 3 Robert De Niro. I didn't even notice that until I said it, but you said Mantzoukas, and I have to actually play this, which is Robert De Niro and Zac Efron. And that is Dirty Grandpa. That movie had a trailer that slays and ends up being just misguided almost around every corner. He does not play that character well at all. And it's another one that it's I think it's 5.8, 5.9 or something on IMDb. It's too high. That is more stars than that movie deserves.
Hey. I see my last one is a movie that I have cited several times before because I think it is guilty of a multitude of sins. In this case, it is wasting the talents of 2 of the 90s biggest stars, one of whom we just watched a trailer for because I'm talking about Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt matching wits in The Devil's Own.
Yeah, that was
That
bad.
is 2 amazing actors and a terrible movie.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But he needs that money, Tom.
Yeah. Right.
Krissy, what's your last one?
Okay, my last pick was so as we all know, Jack Black can do anything. I feel like Jack Black can play anyone and do anything. But I'm wrong. And their evidence of that is when he was paired up with the queen of, talk about someone who can literally do everything in movies and outside of movies. Gwyneth Paltrow literally built an entire empire. And yet when you put them together, you get Shallow Hal.
Oh my God, that movie was terrible.
Boy, when the Fairleys are cold, they are ice cold.
So
Ice
cold.
There's nothing good there to talk about from the plot to the performances on down the line. Boo, 2 thumbs down.
Yeah. So bad. Like that movie doesn't hold up. The moment you're watching it, you realize it doesn't hold up.
Yeah. It's like we can watch it expire on screen.
Yes. Yeah.
What was your last one, Pete?
Well, my last one, weirdly, I actually have a third Robert De Niro. I'm not going to pick it. I'll save that. But I'm going to go for what I have to imagine is a classic, and I am surprised that it did not get picked. That's too easy. It's too easy. I'm going to go with a movie about 2 old friends and business partners who become caretakers of young twin children and dogs. It is called Old Dogs, and it stars Robin Williams and John Travolta. And it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie for all kinds of reasons, not the least of which that those 2 people have no charisma at all together on screen. 0, 0, 0. They should have put Robin Williams next to just the dog. It is so bad. I don't understand, once again, how that movie has, I need to even check the IMDb on it because I think it's another one. That should be my list. My sub list is movies that are terrible that people don't realize are terrible and keep watching because this is one of them.
Okay.
Terrible. It's a 5.3. I'm safe. 5.3.
Okay. All right. So there was our list of powerhouse performances that did not work. So let's see if we can find something a little more positive as we create something for the team next week. So has anybody got any ideas on what they would like the list challenge to be for the next group of people?
It has to have squirrels.
Well, maybe something animal related.
It could be something like best.
I think we did a best animal. Did we do a best animal sidekick or something? I feel like that was a couple.
Did we? We did best.
Or not? If it was discussed and never.
We did
done.
a pet thing, right? We did. Did we do a best pets? Is that one that's already come up? But what about like best? I don't know. A part of me wants to think about like best non-animal animal performances, like best CG animals. In film.
Okay, best CG creature.
Yeah, it could be creature. Well, I don't want Smaug in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, no dragons. Got to be recreations of real animals.
So no Falcor.
That were actually done in CG. That would be my idea.
He's not CG too.
But okay. So how do we? I think how to get the words for that best.
I hope
best CG animal performance.
Best CG animal performance. Yes, let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. And there should probably be a caveat. Should there be a caveat on, does it have to be a 100% CG performance, or does it have to be like there's an animal in the movie?
Well, but then it gets into like the Harrison Ford movie where the dog, but it was actually the dog was performed by a guy.
Was that like Old Yeller or something?
No, well, yeah, something like that. Actually, I'm trying to remember what it was because
Call of the Wild. He did this.
Yeah, Call of the Wild,
thing.
right? Because like actually, they had an actor.
But what I'm looking for is like, what are the most compelling animal performances that are created? Like, what are the ones that are
most compelling created okay,
like manufactured animal performances?
Yeah, we'll get the language here. The most. Let's see. Best.
We might be overthinking it if this
animal.
Does that work for you?
Performance. Non-speaking.
Yes.
Best CG animal performance non-speaking.
Yeah.
Does that work? I think that. I mean,
I think that.
If they really
that plays.
The answer, they could come back and they can. Listen to the show.
So no Planet of the Apes.
Okay. No dragons, no apes.
Interesting. The window is closing on this one. Good luck, everybody. I think it's
that's right.
Yeah, it's
those
a real treat.
All right. So as we sort of then close out, first of all, what's coming up next in the show? I think you guys are still in the midst of some vampire action, right?
Oh my God, man! Twilight. Yeah, we're still doing Twilight.
I'm gonna marry that baby.
Can you hear my enthusiasm? It's exactly what you think it is. And so we're doing Twilight. I think just this week, New Moon dropped. So we're getting into some heavy, werewolf vampire contention. We did, for the members, we did Jaws 2, which dropped this last week, which is, I'm going to say it, better than I remembered. So there you go.
I remember the pretty good ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it does that's the one where the shark cable bites the power line. Yeah. It has, the problem is that's balanced against the shark taking a helicopter out of the air, down underwater. So,
it's also not a 40-foot schooner impaling a shark. So what are you going to do?
Exactly. But I have to say, I'm a real bull on Jaws 3. And so just wait for my Quaid Armstrong fan festorama. I like that movie way too much. So that's coming next month. We'll be recording that sometime soon.
Okay, cool. As we go out, I like to sort of expand our world beyond just movie and television. So I saw something on, I'm going to ask you too, so if anything comes to mind while I'm talking about this. I saw an interesting documentary on YouTube, not about YouTube, but using YouTube as the vehicle by which it was delivered to me. I'm a big Disney fan, and so I like the people to dig into the lore and sort of the hidden history and stuff too. And one of the people doing it is his handle is Defunct Land. Now, once again, like, this is not something that I am like the sole person who's like the champion of this. Like, he is very successful. He's doing really well. But what he did in his last episode was extraordinary. It actually, the last sort of documentary he did, it was actually probably one of the best documentaries I think I've ever seen. And it's really simple. It's called "Who Wrote the Disney Channel Theme?" Simple enough, right? Like, he just wants to find out who's the guy that wrote basically dun 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 dun. That's the Disney Channel theme. 4 notes.
Right.
And he goes on this journey to find out like what this is, and then ends up talking to people who've worked like on camera talent for Disney, people behind the scenes, executives, music. He does this deep dive to find out, and the answer keeps eluding him. And so he's going through, and then he even though he's a voiceover, so he does all the time, he never shows his face on camera, but he then is sort of like having this almost existential crisis of like, what if I never succeed at this? What if I never find out what this is? And then sort of gets into his whole thing about, am I just a YouTube guy? Am I a documentarian? Am I a filmmaker? Like, it really gets enough. And then he takes all these disparate elements and he pulls it together in the end. And I was blown away, like, by how he sort of like wraps this all up. I was like almost crying in the way that he sort of like took all of these things that you didn't think were part of it in this silly little documentary thing and brought it together. And my daughter watched it and had the exact same reaction. We were both like going, "You saw that? Could you believe it?" I mean, it's really, really extraordinary. Like, it's amazing for sort of like in this sort of like niche fan thing that he's created this amazing documentary. That I would say you don't even have to be a Disney fan. Just like as a human being, as a creative person, just watch this thing. It's like an hour and a half long. It's like the length of a movie. I was more moved by this thing than I was by some $250 million budgeted films. It was extraordinary.
Awesome. It reminds me of Dead Eyes. Like, your story is kind of that same feeling of Dead Eyes, where he's trying to figure out why Tom Hanks didn't cast him in Band of Brothers because he said he has dead eyes. And so it's like 30 episodes of investigating and talking to his friends, and it's amazing. It's way better a podcast thing. But you ask, and I have to, just because I just listened to the most recent episode of it that I thought was really fascinating. Imaginary Worlds podcast is a great podcast. And the latest episode of the Imaginary Worlds podcast is talking about, this is Eric Malinsky, and it's called True Crime Fairy Tale. Was the tale of Hansel and Gretel inspired by a real crime in German history? And goes into following this author and researcher later than purportedly the Grimms would have been writing, but trying to follow and find the house and do and it is one of those awesome like walks down sort of cultural history with a fun and funny surprise ending, and I really, really enjoyed that particular episode. But the whole podcast, I think Malinsky does a great job with Imaginary Worlds, and I highly recommend it. So,
well, there you go. Well, after you've watched all of our movies with powers that duos didn't work, which don't watch any of those movies. Please. There's 2 other things you can watch that you'll enjoy way more. One to hear, one to watch, one to listen to. You're gonna have a good time. So thank you both for coming on to do a little show with me and for pitching away. So thank you, Krissy. Thank you, Pete. And thank you to the audience. So if you're a member, stick around because we got a couple things we're going to talk about. For the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And you know what? Go do something nice for yourself.